Most people think getting rich is about luck, right place, right time, right connections. But what if I told you that one of the most famous success books ever written reveals something shocking? Wealth actually begins inside your mind long before it appears in your bank account. In 1937, during the worst economic crisis in American history, a man named Napoleon Hill released a book that would quietly shape the mindset of entrepreneurs, CEOs, and self-made millionaires for generations. The book was Think and Grow Rich. And inside it were a few powerful lessons and quotes that completely changed how people think about success. But here's the strange part. Most people read this book. Very few actually understand it. Because the real secret isn't written directly on the pages. It's hidden in the way the lessons connect. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. Let's start with the first idea that shocked millions of readers. Because, according to Hill, everything begins with one dangerous thought. Lesson number 1, thoughts are not harmless. Napoleon Hill wrote something that sounded simple, but it changed how people think about success forever. He said, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. At first, that sounds like motivational fluff, but Hill wasn't talking about positive thinking. He was talking about mental programming. Your brain constantly absorbs the thoughts you repeat most. If you repeat doubt, your brain searches for proof you can't succeed. If you repeat confidence, your brain begins looking for opportunity. That's why two people can live in the same city, work the same job, and have completely different financial futures. One sees problems, the other sees possibilities. But that wasn't the most important part of Hill's discovery, because he noticed something even more powerful. The people who became wealthy all had one specific trait in common. And once you hear it, you'll realize why most people never succeed. Lesson number 2, desire is the starting point of all riches. Hill believed wealth never begins with money. It begins with desire, not a wish, not a dream, a burning obsession, the kind that keeps you awake at night. One of the most famous stories in the book proves this perfectly. A young man named Edwin C. Barnes once made a bold decision. He decided he would become the business partner of the legendary inventor Thomas Edison. There was only one problem. Barnes was broke. He had no connections, no money, no influence. But he had something far more powerful. He had an unshakable belief that it would happen. So he showed up where Edison worked and took the lowest job available. Not because he wanted the job, but because it placed him inside the opportunity. Months passed, then years. Most people would have quit. But Barnes didn't, because desire, when it's strong enough, turns patience into strategy. Eventually, the opportunity appeared, and Barnes became one of Edison's most successful partners. Hill used that story to prove something important. Desire is the spark. But sparks alone don't build empires, because the next lesson is where things become truly dangerous. Lesson 3, faith creates reality. Hill believed faith was not religion. Faith was self-belief repeated so often that your brain accepts it as truth. And once your brain accepts something as true, your behavior changes. You take risks you once avoided. You notice opportunities you once ignored. You speak with confidence that attracts people. This is why some people seem to move through life with momentum, while others remain stuck in hesitation. Hill explained that the mind works like a broadcasting station. It constantly sends signals. Confidence sends one signal, fear sends another, and people around you can feel it. But here's the part nobody talks about. Faith alone does not create success, because something else must guide it. And that brings us to one of the most underrated lessons in the entire book. Lesson 4, knowledge is not power. Most people believe knowledge automatically leads to success. Hill completely disagreed. He said knowledge only becomes powerful when it is organized and applied. In other words, information without action is just intellectual entertainment. Successful people focus on specialized knowledge, a skill, a craft, a problem they can solve better than others. That's how businesses are built, not through random knowledge, but through focused mastery. However, even knowledge and desire together are not enough, because without imagination, opportunities remain invisible. And that's where the next principle becomes critical. Lesson 5, imagination is a workshop of riches. Hill believed imagination is where wealth is first created. Before every company existed, before every invention changed the world, before every fortune was built, it existed as an idea inside someone's mind. Imagination is not childish. It's the birthplace of innovation. Every business model, every product, every opportunity started as someone asking one powerful question: What if? But imagination without action leads nowhere, which is why Hill introduced one of the most practical lessons in the book. And this is where many people finally fail. Lesson 6: Successful people make fast decisions. Hill studied hundreds of wealthy individuals, and he noticed a fascinating pattern. Successful people make decisions quickly and change them slowly. Unsuccessful people do the opposite. They hesitate, overthink, wait for perfect conditions, and change their minds constantly. Opportunity rarely waits for certainty, it rewards movement. Which leads to the most brutal truth in the entire book. Success belongs to people who refuse to quit. Lesson 7: Persistence separates winners from dreamers. Hill wrote something powerful. Temporary defeat is not failure. That sentence alone has saved countless entrepreneurs. Every successful person experiences setbacks. Plans collapse, deals fail, money disappears, but persistence creates a strange advantage. Most people quit early, which means those who keep going face less competition over time. Persistence quietly eliminates the crowd. But even persistence has a hidden secret, because nobody succeeds alone. And Hill revealed this through something he called the mastermind principle. Lesson 8: The mastermind effect. Hill discovered something powerful. When two or more people combine their knowledge toward a single goal, their results multiply. Ideas expand. Energy increases. Solutions appear faster. This is why successful entrepreneurs build strong networks. They surround themselves with people who challenge their thinking. Growth accelerates when powerful minds collaborate. But there was still one final obstacle Hill believed destroyed more dreams than failure itself. And it's something every human being faces: fear. Lesson 9: The 6 fears that destroy success. Hill believed fear silently controls most people's decisions, and he identified 6 core fears that sabotage ambition. The fear of poverty, the fear of criticism, the fear of illness, the fear of losing love, the fear of old age, and the fear of death. These fears create hesitation, and hesitation kills opportunity. But Hill believed something important. Fear disappears when purpose becomes stronger than doubt, which brings us to the final realization behind this entire book. Final lesson: rich thinking creates rich living. Think and Grow Rich was never really about money. It was about mental discipline. Hill believed wealth begins when you control 3 things: your thoughts, your beliefs, and your persistence. Once those align, opportunities begin to appear where others see obstacles. Because the truth is simple: the mind you train today becomes the life you live tomorrow. And the most powerful investment you will ever make is the one you make in your thinking. If this video made you rethink success, subscribe to Inspire 4D, because the next video will reveal the psychological habit that secretly keeps 95% of people poor. And once you understand it, you'll start seeing the world very differently.